Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back once more to Anno 1800. It's been a while and of course we're diving into this new series here with once again a very interesting idea that some of you have been giving me, and yeah, the one island challenge. So we are just going to play one city. This city must survive at all costs. We're going to play against ultra hard AI opponents boosted by the combat overhaul mod once again, and yeah, we have just one island available where we built the city. My goal would be to reach investor level, so tier 5. This is going to be tricky. We will need to heavily utilize the Docklands DLC if we want to make this work. There is very few mods that I've installed for this, so just have a look at the mod description. You can also follow this along, of course, if you like to, and it should be very easy to actually make this game yourself. We're not going to use too many DLCs for this one here. Let's just quickly go into the settings right again. With the last guidance, of course, we're going to choose as a portrait. A bit beaten perhaps, but that's going to be fine for what we have to have in mind here. The banner of the cat with, yeah, I would like to go with a deep red. Let's go with normal red, so the color of our blood. And yeah, Rico is the name. One of my Patreon supporters there. Rico, thank you very much for your support. If you like to support me as well, just have a look at the link in the video description for the Patreon support. 95% of your contribution goes to the channel directly. That's pretty amazing, right? And for the DLCs, we're going to deactivate all of them, save for the Docklands. That's pretty important that we're going to have here. We're going to also have the seat of power, so the palace. I would like to use its boosts that we are getting later on, the policies and the tourist season, just for the fluff of it, if we get this far, of course, together with the botanical garden. So this is really just a, yeah, bright harvest. We can also go, so these are, well, cosmetic DLCs, and this is optimizing my farm, but we will not have fertilizers, so we'll just see how we do this, and that's it, right? We're not going with skyscrapers, we're not going with any of the other DLCs. The main DLC that you need really is the Docklands, and I think also the seat of power for the efficiency boosts that the palace gives us. With that, we continue onwards right away for the settings itself. So as I said, we are going to play with the combat overhaul mod, so that means we're going to have heavily boosted AI opponents. That is Lady Margaret Hunt. We're definitely going to have Princess Jing in here, and we're probably also going with the Admiral. In this case, there is of course an interesting thing here. Margaret Hunt and Princess Jing love each other. So in this case, they're probably not going to fight each other. They don't hate the Admiral, right? And everybody hates us, so we'll just see how this turns out. They could be fighting each other and ignore us for a while. At some point they will declare war on us because we're going to get significantly weaker than them with just one island, while they can expand through the world, right? For the change for the world settings, we're going with a mainly large island setting. The starting world size is large, the island difficulty is normal, fertility and mineral deposits is plenty. This is actually pretty important because we're going to need everything available to us on this island here if we want to make this work. The factions, we're going with all the traders activated because I definitely want to trade with them and get the quests. The pirates on average, but they're also boosted with the combat overhaul mod, so they're not really average, but way harder than this, of course. For the features, the income is going to be on medium. That's right, we're not going with the hardest settings here because the one island challenge itself is already pretty much the hardest, and I definitely want to have some room to play around here with. We will have the inactive upkeep though, so factories do cost us money if we're deactivating them. We're getting no construction refunds here, so we should be very careful. The building relocation is fine, but we have to pay a coin for this. There's not going to be that much trading post resources. The city incidents will be hard, so that's the plague and the fires. There's not going to be much quests, and for influence we're going with the medium, with actually the high setting here, because it doesn't really matter for us itself. Actually it does for the harbor defenses. Let's go with medium settings there on, no, let's go with high settings on the influence, because we want to build as many harbor defenses as possible for this. We're also playing with the increased harbor area size mod from the Spice It Up collection. This is going to be pretty important to build up massive defenses. It, however, of course, also leads to the AI building, being able to build a lot of ships, right? So it's a two-sided coin here with this, but I'd rather go with more defenses for me. Starting conditions is we're just going to start on a on a harbor with the standard settings, no ships available, and the standard starting capital is small as well. These are the settings. Don't get fooled by this bar up here, right? So we've already played with the maximum there too. It always depends on the mods that you have installed, and for this is probably one of the hardest challenges you can go with. One island with the combat overhaul mods, so the AI is impossible to beat really with just one island. I think we're going to try it out. This is a fun playthrough, so we might also just, you know, lose by episode 10 or 15, get totally destroyed. We could also achieve world domination by taking over the islands. I have no idea at this point, really. So just take this one here with a bit of a grin on your face, I hope. The goal is to reach investors, probably build the palace, and perhaps also the World Fair at some point, so monument at least, there it is, and building up a big city. Then I just decide if we want to continue or not, or we just get destroyed before that anyway. Yeah, these are the settings. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. Let's get cracking. And alright, this is it. This is where we are in, well, let's call it Helsing right away. Also one of my patron supporters. And Helsing it is. It is the map of all maps. It is our one and only island that we're going to settle on, this one here. Archipelago it is, so that means that my opponents are really close to us. We are all situated in the center. So over there we definitely already have an opponent. The same goes with this island here and with this island here, right? So that's centered, and around it we have then the neutral traders, and also of course the pirates and smaller islands. Now our island itself, let's have a quick look at that. We got, yeah, an okay harbor area here, a bigger harbor area over there, but not as beautiful for a city to have the construction than here, right? And in this case here we do have 3 clay deposits, 3 iron deposits, zinc deposit, and oil springs. Also just 4. This is not so great, honestly. I'm missing cement, right? We don't have any cement, and no copper, and no coal. Alright, so this is going to be interesting for sure, I think. We have potato grain, that's great. So we have no fur. Oh, yeah, we have no fur. And we also have no red pepper. We have grape, which is handy later on at tier 5. And we have nitro for dynamite production then at tier 4. Yeah, that's not optimal. We miss hops and we miss fur. So these 2 things we will need to import then as well with our docklands. Yeah, for that, it's not ideal, honestly. But I think we can manage with this. Let's go ahead and start building us the first road. As always, a main road. I'm going to save some money here though, so we're not going to go too crazy there on the roads. And then another road here that we're going to have then for my first fisherman as well. Right in here we can also have then our first village right away. For this, we're probably going to make us another smaller road going away from that. So we only have one island, and that means we will need to use the space to its maximum, right? I'm still going ahead. We're still going to go with some beauty blocks there as well. But first and foremost, density is going to be my biggest motivator here to make things right. And in this case here, we're really going with high density blocks here right away. We could go a bit crazy then with a courtyard block over here, right? And or perhaps actually we make one with the entrance, but that's probably going to be one of the view ones that actually is just there for the looks of it. Let's build some roads. The roads expensive it is already in the beginning, as always. And we're probably going ahead with a smaller low density road then here. And then we can already start with the first marketplace, also somewhere then in this area. Don't forget, we will be able then to boost the range as well with some stone roads, and then a pub then probably somewhere here as well. That should already do wonders for us at the beginning. And this one here might be my school district. We'll just see how we utilize that area here then as well. A few more houses then in this area. Don't forget, this is all blueprinted right now, as we're still going to need a lumber industry. So for this, we're going to make us a cut then probably towards the river here. So some veterans of you already may know this map, right? And that means I do kind of like know where we're going to add some industries right away. We got lots of forest, a dense forest as well over here, far away from the city. So this is the area that I would like to use then as well for my first lumber industry. That means we're going to need some lumberjacks right over here. And then we're going to need some sawmills there again as well. Just make sure that we have then also road connections with these guys. because if there's a surplus, we can use the logs then as well. Let's build the warehouse, the first construction really after my docks, and then also the first 3 sawmills and lumberjacks. Costing me quite a bit of workforce, so I'm going to be careful with that right now, as we're also going to need some for the fishers, so that we get some food in, right? So this is basic industry, and with the remaining 30 tons of timber that we have, we can build the marketplace and also the first houses right here. And with that, the first people are moving into Helsing. Age of agriculture started. Yeah, money-wise, the first 10 people are in. We're making a loss right now, and we're already down to 18,000 credits, that is. So not a lot of money to play around with. But still, a fine day that we can enjoy here right now. I always love the beginning of Anno, because it's so easy, right? So simple. Life is simple, but we know it gets terribly complex rather quickly. And with that also, yeah, the first workforce is moving in, first farmers, and they're also going to start now work at the lumberjack huts. And the first timber is already on its way to the sawmill. Shortly after, the first planks are coming in to my storage. There you go. Workforce-wise, we're down to 0 again, so we have it equal. And the first level up we also have with around 50 people moving in now. We're level 1, that is. Let's build the next lumberjack hut right away with the sawmill. And we also have now the fishery unlocked, so we can start with a proper fish production. And that is something we will also do right here then as well, right next to my docks. Now with the upgraded mod, right, the increased harbor area, this is the harbor area we can utilize. So this is going to be a lot, and we're going to plaster this full with cannons at some point, because boy, we're going to need it. So this is the great thing about that, right? And here we do have then some spots for the big baddies. The same I can do then somewhere over here as well. That would be the goal. All right, more people are moving in. We are going to build also more houses with the timber that we produce. We have no ship right now, so no exploration for the moment. We can really just focus on my industry. Next in line, we can go ahead with boosting my lumberjack huts by 50% right away. The same is with the sawmill, right? It's going to skyrocket my unhappiness, but this is absolutely no problem, as we're not going to see any riots at this point. As of course, there's going to be more and more people now. I'm going to build me a second warehouse a bit further down here, so we have more, or so that it's closer to these lumberjacks here, just in case we're running full on planks then, which will happen of course at some point. And we should of course be also mindful of the oil springs, so here we're going to need an oil refinery that we can then also build later on. That's just for planning general purposes. More planks are coming in, we should really hurry up here. Though we are under no real pressure when it comes to exploration. We don't need to settle on any other islands quickly, because we are not allowed to. And also we don't need to go to the New World. So in this case here, we have no pressure really to be as fast as possible, other than my defenses. Helsing, alright, the village status it is. And of course we're going to have another block then over here. For now, let's continue. And you know what? In this case here, I think we can afford one of my favorite block layouts right here. And let's go with some high density again. In this case here, let's just be sure we do need a warehouse here. So let's build this one right away for those mines then here, deposits that we have. Very important. 3 iron, that will be a close one. There you go. Because we're going to need a lot of sewing machines for that export. And Helsing continues to grow. Very nice. More buildings everywhere. Let's also have a few more here. We're not breaking even. They're really on the money. But that's to be expected. We still have a comfortable surplus of fish by 1 ton per minute. So I can continue happily with a few more farmers. Super important for me right now also is my next industries, which is the schnapps and the wool cloth. Yeah, there is a beautiful river in the center of the map. The thing is, a river is expensive. 3,000 we need to pay if we want to get across it, because it's a pretty long river, right? And here perhaps we can save some money. It's still 3,000. It's always 3,000. I cannot afford this right now. You might think so, but nope. So I will need to build my first industry, schnapps and sheep farms over here somewhere. There's another iron deposit. Let's keep clear of this. And in this area here, we probably should start then with my schnapps and potatoes. So let's go ahead and have some distilleries here. 3, yeah, 8 should be fine, together with then also some potato farms. And we're going to need the ratio 1:1. Yeah, let's just copy them once more. I'm not going to boost them, right? This will be fine for the foreseeable future. And then up here, probably we're going to make use of some sheep farms. Go with 6. We might even then expand up here a bit further. And then we just need the sheep farms rolling in. There you go. Let's keep in mind, here we will have then the railway going through, right? So we always need to keep a bit of a space there in between. And it's this area here where the railroad then goes to the city for the oil transportation. I mean, we can still move these things around. Let's build the first two, let's build one sheep farm actually, one framework knitter. And with that, I might also build me my first warehouse then as well. Over here by the sheep farms. We can also have then a sail maker here somewhere. And at the same time, let's really start with the schnapps. That's actually really important because this is a money booster. It's also going to make people really happy. Alright, this is out of the way. We can continue and use the rest of my planks for more construction in the city. Just around the center here. And I think, yep, the pub would be available now. That is something we can do. And I would also like to build me another fishery over here. Oh, and very important, we do get a quest. And the livestock ran away once more. Collect the farm animals. There they are, roaming the streets. Perhaps we get something nice out of that. I made at least $1,300 if we want to sell it. Self-repair for ships. It's okay. It's not something I'm going to need right away. Alright, we continue with, yeah, probably more blocks of houses than over here. And also here. And let's build the pub. This will immediately increase also my happiness. And with that, we actually have a content population again.
My basket is flowing over.
And we continue with more city building then around it. There you go. Very deeply red there right now. Maintenance is killing it. How's it looking? Yeah, we need more schnapps. We need more workcloth. This is already something I need to tackle right away. And also another sheep farm with a framework knitter. And let's just hope that the schnapps is coming in. There it is. Because this will increase my balance there tremendously, as you can see. As we're closing in on 500 people, we should hopefully then also be able to make a profit here out of this little colony. Finish a few more houses here. And with closing in on 800 people, we finally also have a small profit of 300 coin per minute. Not that much yet, but it's a start to get some money into my banks again for further industry. Let's continue with some buildings. And as we can see also, we can now upgrade our population to tier 2 already. Those farmers have everything they need now, workcloth and fish. And with that, let's go ahead and upgrade the first ones here in the center. Age of industrialization, very good. The workers are coming in. And with that, we do need sausages, bread, soap, and also a school then down the road. Also, we have unlocked the Bismarck. It's one of the few new ships that I've added here to give me a bit of an edge there on the ocean. But that's something, of course, for tier 5 then investors. Not something we can build right now. I don't know why we get the newspaper for it. And let's have also some more buildings here. Very good. Port town we have with Helsing. And in this case here, also my balance is going bonkers right now with 600 and closing in on 1,000 people. We have an equal production and consumption now, so we need to boost this. Another dairy farm with a schnapps distillery, and another sheep farm with a framework knitter right over here. Very happy population indeed. Let's continue with a few more farmers over here. We always want to consume that timber, right? Should never really go up there. With that, we have a nice income boost again. So let's continue with the upgrades here. 1,000 people, Helsing has achieved already. Now, we should be also working then on this district here. I could go in and just copy me this whole block there. This is the fun part. Probably up to this point, right? And just go in like this and make it over there. And I think we might just do this. We might just turn it around a bit so that it does look a bit different, right? Something like this would work. Or we go with the individual route. That is something we actually should be doing anyway, because this area is looking a bit different than this area, and I would not be able to reach those guys here with a marketplace. So I can't just copy and paste it over. I need to have my marketplace somewhere over here if I want to reach all of these people here, right? So that's one of those things to consider anyway. So let's have the market then here somewhere together with a pub right next to it, right? So that we can really get all of these here. There's then my road as well that goes right to my zinc deposit that we have. And in here we should then be able to just casually also squeeze in some houses. And I could also once again use my block somewhere here. Yeah, this is actually fine. I would like to have it look probably towards the market, the docks. And then we can have another one here. And then another full block probably going up like this. There you go. Don't forget, this central road here is a triple road, of course. Right. So there's the space for it already. Don't worry, if you're new to this game, it's all coming along. The further we progress then as well. We can continue with some upgrades. As always, we will also need then to delete some buildings again, make room for bigger buildings. For now, though, I want to really use every square inch that we have to squeeze in that profit. And yeah, with all these upgrades, once again, I will probably need another fishery that we're going to add here in the center of my docks. And with that, we should be able then to also upgrade a few more guys here. Very good. To a nice comfortable balance of 700. And just on time really, with the second tier population, we also get a quest. And what do they want? Old Harold once again, he's going crazy, he's at the pub. Also we get the quest for the pig farms. And Old Harold is somewhere at the local pub, so somewhere over here. We should find the bugger boasting around. There it is, and with that we get a pilot. 20,000 we could sell him for. He's not very good otherwise, right? No expeditions really, and also just a few ship boosts. But 20,000 I'll take gladly once we're able to, of course, trade daddies. We haven't unlocked this yet. Let's go ahead, finish this block over here, and then also a few more workers. We should be careful though at this point, because we are consuming all the farmer population that we have. And this is then not good, because we're still going to need, of course, that workforce for farmer industries. Next up, we should work on the second construction material, that's the bricks. And for this, we have a spot over here that we can use. So I'm going in here with another warehouse, most likely. Wait a second, there's my city block then. I'm going to have my brick factories up here, and then the warehouse. And once again, a very expensive construction, really. It does cost me a whopping 2,000 on the credits. And also then some maintenance costs here as well, reducing my total input. Also costs me a lot of workforce, right? So that's 100 workers that we consumed with just this brick production, which is now up and running. Once again, I'm going in and I'm going to boost this, right, 50%. Even though at this point we could theoretically see the riots, we're still having a popular or a content population, so there's no real need of making them too happy right now. More bricks is the important thing here. And as always, the graphics of this game never get old. Some planks are moving in again. Helsing can continue to grow with more workers. With that, we also unlock a few more buildings down the road. That is the weapons production, beer, and the police station. Also at this point, I should build the first fire station, since fires will appear. Let's have the first fire station somewhere here, to combine all of my industries over here, right? And then I would like to build one fire station in the central area of Helsing. Actually, I wanted to plan it here for all my people that we have in this central area here, together with the mines and also the hub area. There you go. Perfect. What I would like to continue is also the sail makers. Very important that is, because we want to of course start also then with the ship production. So I'm going to need me a sail maker somewhere over here. I should be able to still squeeze me in another sheep farm here just for this sail maker. We're not going to need that many sail makers though. Let's actually switch the framework knitters with the sail maker then, so we can have a sail maker then over here for the sales production as well, getting it right from the sheep farms. Alright, also the first propaganda we can do. Of course we want to go with some money boost, spend, spend, spend. We have lots of influence that I'm intending to use, we need it. Also a new company takes root, Zuriku sells the first island, it's also going to be the only island, and also benevolent leader succeeds again. Yeah, Riku achieves success, and that is the upgrade, I guess, to tier 2. A bit more money coming in this way, despite my industry. Alright, next in line, we should then prepare the next worker industries. For this, however, I will need to build a bridge for sure, right? So we will need to spend this money, and that's, yeah, always something that I really don't like to do because it's a lot of money. I could also just go in and build me the next marketplace and pop over here, and then as many new farmers as we have to spend more of my planks, because right now that's one of the best ways of getting more money in. Of course, we should not forget about my schnapps production with that. Actually, a little mistake on my part here. We need to have a road in between. Otherwise, transportation times get longer than they need to be. It's these details that matter. And then a framework knitter over here as well. With this, we should have a nice, comfortable surplus again to build more farmers. Okay, so next up we still have the tier 2 population now that we need, and for this I really need to move over to the other side of the river. So this is all foundation, right? This is all stuff that we build upon then in the next episodes to come. If I'm just working with one island here and I want to push them to investors, we need to be just super efficient with our basic infrastructure and what kind of products we're going to use in the docklands for exporting, so that we can import other materials that we don't have on this island. So of course, as always, soap is my main exporter early on, and then sewing machines next. And since we do have grape, I would also like to work then on some champagne, but that is for way later. Right now, we want to start with a very robust and steady pig area. So an area where we have just lots of pig farms, obviously, that we can then use and boost as well. So let's just go ahead and see where we might want to cross over. This is where the railroad will be, right? So this is the railroad area. So here I would like to have probably my first road connection over for 3,000. This is hurting me. Yeah, there you go. But with that, we made the first crossing there. We can actually make this connection then down here, so that we have the city then connected there. Up there, we will probably go with our pigs just up here on this plateau. There's another clay deposit over there that we can easily use. And here we might then also just go for some grain farms. I'm uncertain where we put them. We'll just see. Let's go ahead and have us the pig area then somewhere here. Now, you might not just see it yet, but this to me looks actually pretty efficient. Now, we do have the pig farms, right? We do have around 4, 8, 12, 16 pig farms. It's actually 20 and more. And all of these here also have a silo right next to them that we can build. We already have that mission for it that is boosting that. So we have the pig farm itself. Let's build this. Actually, this time around with the silo already, right? So this was already the connection here. Let's also immediately build a fire station. Super important, because these pig farms really like to catch fire. And then we also have Let's just go ahead and have one of these here. Yeah, one of these warehouses there at the outer edge for now, connected, right? And there we have it now. The pig farm in its base form producing 1 ton of pigs per minute. With the upgrade of the silo, this is getting boosted significantly to 2 tons as far as I know, or even 3 tons per minute. Furthermore, we can then actually also use the trade union for most of them, bear in mind not all of them, but for most of them, to further boost their efficiency by 50 to 100%. And on top of that, we could then also further go ahead and change their work ethics, their productivity to 50% as well, baseline from us. So that's a whole bunch of boosts we can do to these pig farms. It's important, it's necessary, because those pig farms are going to be the foundation for our Docklands export industry, and we do need a lot of them, and I can't spend that much space on them. The cool thing is we can just take the whole layout and just copy it to this area then here as well, right? Once I get rid of the road, of course, and we can then just put it in like this and it would work, right? So let's actually make sure that we have this road there coming in from here, right? And then we can copy it there again if we need it. Let's just make sure that we also keep the clay deposit. So this is number 1 out of the way. Another thing we should set up immediately is an industry zone where I'm going to process pigs, for example, but also steel beams, steel in general. And of course, it's going to be this area here. It's the furthest away from the city. This is going to be an ugly area, right? It's going to be full of pollution, full of slaughter, full of foundries. It's going to be hot and dirty and also electrified. So in this case here, there's the oil, there's the train coming down, and the train is coming up again over the bridge that we're going to build here into this area. So we need to make sure that right here in the center of it all, we do have then a room for a nice electricity area, right? So this is getting electrified, and around it we're going to have lots and lots of factories that we can boost up then as well, plus probably another harbor area than here as well. This is going to be fun, this area, I'll tell you that. What we definitely will need to do here right away is setting up the trade unions, because I'm fully intending to also boost the industry zones then with the trade unions, right? So we can have one here, I can definitely have another one here, up here, and also over here. There will be some industries that we can't boost, right? It's just a circular thing, but here, for example, where we don't have any trade union, right, we will be able to, for example, put in a fire station, for example, and we'll definitely also need a police station here as well, right, situated. So this is kind of like a dead spot for the trade unions. Also, we can have our warehouse here, for example, in this area. The same goes then for this area, another warehouse area that we can have, and probably also a fire station, stuff like that. Right now, it's all rather theoretical, right? It's just blueprints, unfortunately, but we need to start with this somehow, and I want to explain you that instead of just pushing the blueprints and expect you to just know that I did it, right? So just that the thought process is behind that. This is the industry zone, electrification, service buildings, warehouses, and then, then industry. And for that, we can start with the slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse is something we don't theoretically need to electrify, so I would like to have it here, right? It doesn't need to be that close to it, and I would like to reserve the right to actually also move them again at some point, right? With the slaughterhouse, we can actually make it really all the way out here, because it's not an important industry to me. And yeah, in this case here, that would be then already 8 tons of sausage coming in. With electrification, it would be 16 tons, right? So I'm not expecting this one here to be fully used. I should also have another warehouse then up here in this area for these guys here. And you know what? Let's actually make this block here a bit more cohesive. There you go, looks much better, right? So that's that. It gets a bit more complicated with the soap, because the soap we definitely would like to boost, and it should be closer to my electrification, right? For the soap factory, we need the rendering works, and that's actually something that's going to be quite abundant, right? So we're going to need quite a few of them. Now let's just go ahead and make this full block here complete. Right, so that's 12, and that would lead to a base of 6 soap factories that we would need here. 3, 6. That would lead to a base production now for the soap of 12, unboosted. We could probably push it to 24 and 30 beyond. That's why we definitely want to keep also a bit of space available then here to these guys here. And you know what? Let's actually push all of this a bit further back. They're also primarily used by the trade union then, just in case we want to boost them. And I'm going to move this one step over, and I'm also going to move the trade union. There you go. We can actually get all of the soap factories here in one go. And I could have more rendering works here and then more soap factories here. So this is all soap. Super important because it's going to play such a vital role, right? Here we can have bread, and here we can have then the whole steel industry that we're going to need. All right. By the way, we're capping a bit on planks there. Before I continue with that, let's also go ahead and upgrade more people here. Of course, the city needs to grow in the meantime. And also this area, we can just happily go ahead and also boost up there with more people living in it. Yeah, let's go ahead with a double road. I hope it's not too bad of an idea here to have a double road, right? And then we can push more blocks here as well without the marketplace, please. Could I actually push it like this? Ah, perfect, right? Just like that on the dot. And then a few more high density blocks than here as well. There you go, just to the edge of this whole thing. And with the timber coming in, we can already continue building a few more of these guys. As Helsing is also growing here to, yeah, 2,000 people right now. We are swimming on the income wave there a bit while we can, while we prepare the industry for all of these things. The bricks are coming in. And yeah, while we are doing all of this, we could also start with our steel industry. We should really be doing this because honestly, we're going to need a lot of steel soon. And for that, we have the iron deposit. And then comes actually the trickiest part of this whole thing, and that's the charcoal. We don't have a coal deposit here, unfortunately. At some point, we'll need to import it for sure. Right now, though, we need to use the charcoal itself. Now, the charcoal, unfortunately, cannot be really shared with the logging industry, right? So we need to have it separate somehow, and it's only producing 2 tons per minute per piece. So yeah, we need to prepare at least 4 of these buggers early on. So let's have a look here. That's 100% actually, right? There is another 100% here. That's very good. Up here, close to the clay pit, we have one with 100% that we can use. And probably here for now, right? It's not ideal, right? And we're probably going to move it at some point, but right now this would be working too. So that's already then 8 tons of coal coming in per minute. This is fantastic. So this is what we would need right now. There you go. Then we just really need the iron deposit because this is already producing 4 tons per minute on the baseline. And of course we have 2 iron deposits right next to us here in Helsing with a warehouse then as well. So let's build the bugger right away. And with that, start mining the iron out of the very monumentous mountain with a beautiful mountain lake right here as well. Might think about putting this one up for a resort and getting some tourists in. That would be nice. First, you need to hike over there, of course. So there is the mining starting. With this, we can also start with the first charcoal kiln, right? That we would have them up here. Bear in mind, all of this costs a lot of money. So we can only do this step by step, really, before we go bonkers there. And then, of course, we need to start with the furnaces and the steelworks. Now, the furnaces all will need to be boosted. There is no way around that, right? The furnaces are crucial to my sewing machine factories that we want to have. They need to be electrified and boosted with the trade unit. So they need maximum attention, really. And for that, we are going to, yeah, we're going to really squeeze in as many of them as possible around the trade union and also around the warehouses here that we have, right? So the warehouses we have then, for example, here we have then 2 set up. Up here we have probably another one here. This one we probably need to move again after all. Yep, move it over here. That's fine. Right. Need to be electrified, so they all have a dedicated road system then as well. We definitely, unfortunately, also will need a fire station for these guys because they like to catch fire quite often. Explosions and things happen, right? There we have them, and then we can just boost them here again. It's getting a bit too close there again to my charcoal kiln, but that's okay because the charcoal kiln we can always just move them. Right. I can probably squeeze in another one here and still catch it. That's too tight. This should work. Yes, with that I can get them all in except this one here. That's fine. Gets electrification, and here we can have more than as well, right? There you go. All electrified, and they're all going to see some nice boosting then. Let's also make sure that we have enough warehouses close by, because that's going to be a lots of traffic that we have then in this area. And the other thing is then, of course, we can start with the steelworks right away. We don't really need to boost them, so I'm just going to keep them here in the steel area, obviously. And we can have then, I think a block of 4 should be fine for the future. They're just massive in space, so we probably want to have them a bit further outside. Like, yeah, somewhere over here, 4 of them. That's already doing the trick for me. And this one we can move over, and then we can still even squeeze in another fire station here, which is just super important for the whole thing. And we still have room then over here as well for a few more furnaces and whatnot. All of this electrified, so this is already fine. This is already twice the production than what we're going to need. Yeah, let's start with this. Should we put it up, the fires? I think we should. Let's start with this warehouse here, together with the fire station, and also the first furnace. And with this whole area is also coming to life, together with a steel beams production. This is a very important foundation for this whole thing, because with that we have the third construction material available now, and we have steel, and that we're going to need for weapons. We're going to need this for sewing machines, and a lot of other things in the future. Alright, Helsing is growing. Of course, right now, we still don't know anything about the world. We don't know what the opponents are doing right now. We don't know where the pirate is located, where Archie is, where Eli is, where Madame Kahina is. We don't know anything about them yet. So my next goal would be, yeah, after this foundation, to start with the sail making, the shipbuilding, and then we go out there in the world, explore, and of course also advance to artisans. I hope you enjoy this one. Anno 1800, the city must survive. Stay tuned.
An